In old Hollywood, dressing rooms were much more than simple places to change costumes. They were private sanctuaries where the rules of the outside world ceased to apply. Doors that locked from the inside, curtains that hid secrets, and visitors who arrived when the studio lights went out. Today we are going to meet 12 actresses whose dressing rooms never stayed empty for long. Lana Turner collected husbands like other women collected jewelry. 7 official marriages, but the numbers did not tell even half the story. Her dressing room at MGM was known for receiving flowers and phone calls from admirers that ranged from jazz musicians to millionaire tycoons. Frank Sinatra, Tyrone Power, Howard Hughes, and a rumored romance with Clark Gable, who was married at the time. Studio messengers lost count of how many bouquets arrived each week. But it was a man named Johnny Stompanato who changed everything. The bodyguard of a well-known organized crime boss began sending flower arrangements to the film set until Lana agreed to meet him. What followed was a stormy relationship that the tabloids followed with morbid fascination. Stompanato followed her everywhere, showed up unannounced at her dressing room, checked her correspondence looking for evidence of other men. Stompanato was so jealous that he flew to London when Lana was filming with Sean Connery, convinced something was happening between them. He showed up on set with a gun, threatening the Scottish actor in front of the entire production crew. Connery disarmed him with a single blow and left him unconscious on the floor. The relationship ended in the most tragic way imaginable. One night in April 1958, when Lana's teenage daughter intervened to protect her mother from that violent man's fury. Clara Bow did not try to hide anything. The it girl of the 20s treated each romance as if it were a formal engagement, although those engagements lasted weeks instead of years. Gary Cooper, director Victor Fleming, actor Gilbert Roland. Each one received their turn in Clara's heart, and probably in her dressing room as well. The most scandalous rumors followed her throughout her entire career. It was said she had entertained the entire football team from the University of Southern California after a game. Clara never confirmed nor denied the story, which only fed more public speculation. Her secretary kept evidence of every love letter, every gift, every whispered promise. When that secretary decided to betray her, everything came to light in a trial that destroyed Clara's career. The intimate details of her romantic life were read aloud before scandal-hungry journalists. Clara retired before turning 30, unable to bear more exposure. Ava Gardner had a magnetism that made men lose their minds. Mickey Rooney was her first husband, Artie Shaw II, but it was Frank Sinatra who truly fell under her spell, abandoning his wife and children to pursue her to the altar. The romance between Ava and Frank was legendary for its intensity and volatility, explosive fights followed by passionate reconciliations. Sinatra constantly called her on set, jealous of every actor who shared a scene with her. He would show up at her dressing room without warning, looking for evidence of imaginary rivals. Howard Hughes also courted her obsessively, sending private planes and extravagant jewelry. Ava accepted the gifts but rejected the man. Her dressing room became a battlefield where suitors competed for her attention while she filmed some of the most important pictures of the decade. Elizabeth Taylor married 8 times to 7 different men. Richard Burton had the honor of taking her to the altar twice. But before Burton, there was Eddie Fisher, whom Elizabeth snatched from the arms of her best friend, Debbie Reynolds, in one of the most talked-about scandals of the 50s. Reynolds discovered the betrayal, and the entire world took sides in the dispute between the two actresses. The romance with Burton began during the filming of Cleopatra in Rome. Both were married to other people, but that did not stop the nighttime visits that the entire film crew knew about but no one officially mentioned. Paparazzi camped outside the studio day and night, waiting to capture any image that would confirm the rumors circulating throughout Europe. The Vatican publicly denounced her as a woman of questionable morals. Newspapers called her a home wrecker. American congressmen asked that she be forbidden from returning to the country. But Elizabeth moved forward without apologizing, divorcing Fisher to marry Burton in a wedding that paralyzed the entertainment world. Her dressing room during Cleopatra became the setting of the most scandalous romance of the era, a place where social rules simply ceased to exist. Marlene Dietrich did not recognize borders in love. Men, women, young, mature. If someone intrigued her, Marlene found a way to know them better. Her husband remained legally married to her for decades, although they lived on separate continents and both maintained other relationships. Her list of conquests included names spanning the entire spectrum of Hollywood: John Wayne, James Stewart, Yul Brynner, Gene Gabin. But there were also rumors about romances with equally famous women, including a supposed relationship with Greta Garbo that both publicly denied throughout their lives. Her dressing room was neutral territory where conventional rules did not apply. She received visitors at any hour, dressed in her famous masculine trousers that scandalized conservative America. The door would close and what happened inside remained a secret between the velvet-covered walls. Joan Crawford began her career under circumstances that MGM Studio paid $100,000 to hide. An early film from her youth that showed compromising situations was purchased and supposedly destroyed to protect her image as a respectable star. 4 marriages and dozens of romances filled her personal life. Clark Gable was one of her most well-known lovers during the 30s, although he was also married. Rumors about her preferences included insinuations that her interest was not limited exclusively to men, something her rival Bette Davis mentioned more than once with her characteristic venom. When she moved to Warner Brothers, she demanded the dressing room next to Davis. She constantly sent flowers and gifts, all returned unopened. Davis interpreted these gestures as something more than simple professional courtesy. The tension between both actresses fueled decades of speculation about what exactly Crawford had wanted from her dressing room neighbor. Ingrid Bergman was the image of purity on screen. Devout nuns, virgin saints, faithful wives. The American public adored her precisely for that image of Nordic innocence. No one suspected what was happening behind the cameras until it became impossible to keep hiding it. Her romance with Italian director Roberto Rossellini began while both were married to other people. Bergman became pregnant before she could get divorced, and the scandal was monumental. An American senator denounced her in Congress as a malign influence. She was forced to exile herself in Europe for years. But Rossellini was not her only extramarital romance. Years later, a previous relationship with Gregory Peck was revealed that had successfully remained hidden. Her dressing room during those apparently innocent film shoots had been the setting for encounters that completely contradict the image the public had of her. Tallulah Bankhead did not apologize for anything. She received visitors in her dressing room completely naked, smoking and drinking bourbon while conversing about politics, theater, or whatever else. Studio executives sent memos begging her for discretion. She systematically ignored them. She was openly bisexual at a time when such confessions meant the end of a career. She spoke without shame about her encounters with men and women alike. In interviews, she mentioned that she accepted certain roles specifically because she wanted to know her male co-stars intimately. Her dressing room smelled of alcohol and cigarette smoke. Empty bottles accumulated in corners. Visitors of all types came and went at any hour. Tallulah lived by her own rules and challenged anyone to criticize her for it. Jane Mansfield obsessively studied Marilyn Monroe, trying to replicate her success as Hollywood's explosive blonde. But Jane took everything to the extreme, including her romantic life. Her wardrobe accidents were legendary and supposedly intentional, designed to keep her name in the headlines. She maintained correspondence with Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, who publicly claimed to be her lover. Photographs of both of them together appeared in sensationalist magazines. Jane neither confirmed nor denied, enjoying the controversy it generated. There were also rumors about a relationship with a president of the United States, although they were never officially confirmed. Her pink dressing room received visitors from all social strata, from actors to politicians, from musicians to figures from the esoteric world. Jane collected experiences as voraciously as she collected headlines. Rita Hayworth attracted powerful men like a magnet. Orson Welles, the genius of cinema, married her. Prince Ali Khan, heir to an incalculable fortune, pursued her across half the world until convincing her to become a princess. Each marriage ended, but the suitors never stopped appearing. During the filming of Gilda, the picture that turned her into a worldwide symbol, Her dressing room was constantly watched by Wells, who suspected every actor and technician who got too close to his wife. The famous glove scene became one of the most sensual moments in film history, and Wells knew that millions of men would fantasize about his woman. The studio physically transformed her, changing her name, her hair color, and even her hairline. But they could not control her heart, which passed from one man to another, searching for something that apparently none of them could give her. Marilyn Monroe lived surrounded by powerful men who competed for her attention. Joe DiMaggio, the baseball legend, married her but could not bear to see other men look at her with desire. Arthur Miller, the respected intellectual, believed he could save her from herself and from Hollywood. Neither of them succeeded, and both marriages ended in failure. The most persistent rumors connected her to the most important political figures of the era. Phone calls at late hours of the night from private lines, discreet visits at exclusive hotels, letters that were confiscated by government agencies and supposedly destroyed to protect reputations. Her dressing room and her home were supposedly monitored by agents concerned about what she knew and who she was sharing it with. When she sang that famous birthday song at Madison Square Garden wearing a dress that seemed painted onto her body, everyone understood that something more than professional admiration existed between her and the most powerful man in the country. Marilyn knew secrets that many preferred to keep buried forever, and some investigators believe those secrets directly contributed to her tragic and mysterious end. Greta Garbo wanted to be alone, according to her most famous phrase, but reality was more complex. The Swedish actress maintained relationships that defied the conventions of her era, protected by a wall of privacy that few managed to penetrate. Her name appeared romantically connected to both men and women. Director Ruben Mamoulian, actor John Gilbert, who was supposedly abandoned at the altar by her, and persistent rumors about intimate relationships with women in the industry, including a supposed connection with Marlene Dietrich that both denied until the end. Garbo retired from cinema at 36 years old and spent the rest of her life as a recluse, avoiding journalists and photographers. What happened in her dressing room during her golden years remained one of the best-kept mysteries of Hollywood. She took those secrets to the grave, just as she had always planned. The dressing rooms of old Hollywood kept secrets that would have destroyed careers if they had come to light at the time. Forbidden romances, unexpected visitors, encounters that defied the social norms of the era. The most glamorous actresses in the world lived private lives that completely contradicted the images the public adored. Behind every closed door existed a story that the studios worked tirelessly to hide. Some of those stories have finally come to light. Others remain buried forever. If you like this video, subscribe and hit the bell for more secrets from the dark side of Hollywood.